Hi everyone, just a gentle reminder that I am trying to reach 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year. So be sure to share this out to all your friends and let them know about me. And now, on to the video. Thank you. There was an idea to bring together the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But then Disney execs, along with Marvel Studio head Kevin Feige, decided to do too much, too fast, and it ended up falling apart right in front of their eyes. However, it seems with the release of these Avengers Doomsday trailers, there is a hope for Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU, fans. Hi everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post new videos. All right, so Marvel has dropped 4 new teaser trailers to gear us up for Avengers Doomsday. This sees the return of the Russo brothers, who of course directed Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and of course Avengers Endgame. They have been out of Marvel for some time now. Marvel went a different direction after the close of that chapter, but it appears that they want to course correct. And at the conclusion of Spider-Man Far From Home, it seemed that Marvel went a completely different direction in their cinematic universe, and they wanted to embrace sort of woke identity politics. They wanted to lecture the fans, and also they just gambled on Disney Plus subscriptions that didn't work out so well. What was great about the original MCU pre-Phase 4 was that you could still watch along with a lot of the films and not get lost. Sure, there were threads, there were connections, and you did need to know a little bit going into Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, but you didn't have all of this homework with Disney Plus shows, like for instance WandaVision. You had to watch that to know what was going on in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You had to watch Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness to know what was going on in Loki. You had to watch a whole plethora of Disney Channel releases ahead of the Thunderbolts. Now, my super cute wife, who didn't watch any of the Disney Plus content, even less than I did, she went into Thunderbolts and she actually really liked it and said she didn't really need the Disney Plus shows to get to know all the characters. So that actually works in their favor, compliments to Thunderbolts. And now Disney needs a win. They have had flop after flop with only Deadpool and Wolverine as far as Marvel films being a huge hit. Thunderbolts had a really poor opening. They had a decent second week, but then it dropped off again. Fantastic Four: The First Steps didn't do as well either. And it's a shame because both Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four: The First Steps, they're not bad movies, but they're just caught up in the minutia. So here we go with Avengers Doomsday. Now, according to the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony Russo, who are directing the film and have a huge hand in writing it, in fact, they fired the original writer when the film was called, let's see, it was called the Kang Dynasty, Avengers the Kang Dynasty, but they fired that writer and they brought on a whole bunch of new people, and in fact, Ryan Reynolds even helped write some of the film. There's actually rumors that there's drama between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. Let me tell you something. I'm always going to pick Robert Downey Jr. in that fight, considering who Ryan Reynolds is married to. Google that for yourself. I've done videos on it. But anyway, I'm just saying that the Avengers Doomsday needs to be big, and the release of these 4 teasers, and also some that have leaked online — we all know Kevin Feige is the leaker — those have certainly built up a certain amount of nostalgia. So I'm going to go through them and discuss my thoughts on each of them, which ones I like the best, and how they're actually might be hyping me up a bit for Avengers Doomsday. Disney Plus and later Marvel Studios really tried to force Sam Wilson as Captain America onto the public. But the problem is, movies aren't like comic books. Now, I do think some people who exaggerate, oh, why is there a multiverse? Why is there time travel? Why is there this, that, and the other? What's with this crazy costumes? Those people are idiots. They clearly never read a comic book in their life, even though they claim they did. But they tried to force this legacy character onto us that we didn't really want. We were too in love with Chris Evans' portrayal of Captain America. And if he had retired, really, Bucky should have become Captain America. That made the most sense as far as following the storyline. In fact, there's even a deleted scene in Captain America Civil War where Bucky actually uses the shield. So it made sense that that is who we want, but they tried to force feed us Sam Wilson, and that didn't work out so well. Both Falcon and Winter Soldier, the miniseries where Falcon becomes Captain America, and Captain America Brave New World, which introduced us to Captain America, with Sam Wilson holding the shield, were total disasters. No one liked it. It came off as preachy and lecturing, and no one wanted to watch it. And in fact, Brave New World was just a Hulk movie without the Hulk. Why didn't Bruce Banner at least have a cameo in it? But whatever. I digress on that. So the emotion of this teaser, which featured Chris Evans' return as Captain America, that is definitely some powerful bait. We see him, he's living that life with Peggy Carter. He apparently has a child with her, and that has a huge impact on the viewers. Now, I had actually said in a video I had done previously that if Marvel wanted to reboot the MCU, they should just end it and then just reboot it in the world where Captain America returns earlier than being found in the block of ice. I think that's how they should have done it, but they didn't do that. They don't listen to us. But I would like to see Steve Rogers return as Captain America. He would be perfect for that. I could definitely see him coming back, stepping right into it with the shield. None of this nomad nonsense. Don't make him the director of shield. Make him Captain America. This was a brilliant move by them to return Chris Evans, and that trailer definitely hit me in the feels. And now we come to Thor, which shows him kind of saying a prayer to Odin, asking him for help with being a good father, not just a warrior, but being a good father to his adopted child. Now, like I said, you have to do a little bit of homework because we saw in Thor Love and Thunder that he adopted a child from his enemy, and she has become, his apprentice as well. I do hope that they go with Thor in a different direction, because it feels like both Thor Ragnarok and Thor in Love and Thunder wanted to reset him. He's constantly having to find himself, and he doesn't need to. He's Thor. He's already found himself, especially if you watch Avengers or Avengers Age of Ultron. You know where he stands. And I hope that the Russo brothers don't echo that, oh, let's find himself again. No more of that. I want to see Thor swinging that axe, swinging that hammer, bringing the thunder, bringing the lightning. That's what I want to see. Now, the Russo brothers did that with Infinity War and Endgame. They sort of ignored the posturing created by Ragnarok. So I hope that that happens here, that we get to see Thor come out on his own, be reformed, and be the Prince of Thunder he is supposed to be. I think that would be smashing, if you will. I hope we get to see that part of him, because this trailer certainly sets it up. What we've been waiting for, if you're an MCU fan, for years, and that is the X-Men's introduction into the MCU. Now, they kind of did this in Deadpool and Wolverine. Also, not really. I do hope that the X-Men's introduction into the MCU proper is done very gracefully. I'm kind of not into the whole Professor X and Magneto being friends. They're enemies. Now, they started out as friends, but Magneto got too bitter. He let his bitterness overtake him, and that eventually, turned him into the monster that he is. And yes, Magneto is a monster. I am willing to give it a chance, and hopefully this movie makes Cyclops cool again. Cyclops, despite great efforts, hasn't really been cool since X-Men Evolution. James Marsden is a really good actor, so let him cook as Cyclops. I think he can do it. But yeah, this trailer definitely teased a good introduction into the MCU. I hope it's as good as that tease. Now, this is the one, it shows Shuri. We get a glimpse of the Atlanteans, who for some reason they made Hispanic. I don't know why they did that. Namor instead of Namor. Namor is connected to Greek legends, Greek mythology. I don't know why they did that. It was so stupid and quite frankly insulting to Hispanics. They're like, oh, here, have the Greeks hand-me-downs. So stupid. Anyway, you do have to be familiar with the Black Panther sequel, Keep the Water Mexicans Out of Wakanda Forever, to know that Shuri is now Black Panther. On principle, I actually don't have a problem with Shuri becoming the Black Panther because it is a family thing. T'Challa's family, going back generations, have been Black Panthers, and typically it's the king, but there have been times when other family members have stepped into the role of Black Panther. So I don't have a problem with her on principle. The problem was the movie wasn't that good. I'm hoping to see how they have her step into that in this. And of course, we get the tease of the thing in it where M'Baku, I guess now he's the king of Wakanda, and Shuri is just kind of the Black Panther. Well, we see them meet the Thing from the Fantastic Four First Steps. He introduces himself in sort of a comical way. I do think it's interesting that they felt that they had to put the Wakandans with both the Atlanteans and the Fantastic Four. And like I said, something's up here. Now, I don't agree with any of the notions that this is somehow an istophobe thing. I think that it's promotional material, and they're leading up to the big reveal. Who knows what that entails? Who knows where that is going to go? But I think it's going to be solid. Now, what have we not seen in these trailers? Well, obviously the big one is Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, and this leads a lot of questions. The biggest rumor that I have seen online is that Robert Downey Jr. is actually not playing Victor Von Doom. He's actually playing a variant of Tony Stark, specifically from the world where Doctor Strange went to in the Multiverse of Madness, where it had, John Krasinski was Mr. Fantastic, they had Black Bolt, there was Captain Carter, and Photon was now Captain Marvel, and all of this. There was rumors that he became Doctor Doom to get revenge on the Illuminati, as they were called in that world. Now, that could be very possible, or he could just be double casted as Doctor Doom, but the big rumor is he's actually a Tony Stark variant who's evil, and that the real Doctor Doom is going to be played by Viggo Mortensen, yes, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. I don't know how true that is, but the fact that he's not being teased in the trailers yet certainly makes me think. I wonder what's up, where this is going, who knows? But these trailers are definitely interesting, and the Russo brothers have said they're not really trailers, but story hints. So, what are these beads all leading up to? Certainly something epic, an epic crossover of 3 different worlds, the Fantastic Four world, the X-Men universe, and of course the MCU. Is it working on me? Is this nostalgia bait pulling me in? Yes, quite frankly it is. I am actually getting hyped for this movie. Originally, I was only sort of hyped for Spider-Man Brand New Day, even though I don't like the title because it's based on a very terrible Spider-Man story. But how can you go wrong with the Punisher and the Hulk? Of course, Marvel often says, hold my beer, but we'll see. Spider-Man and the Hulk and the Punisher have crossed over many times, and I think it's going to be good. Back to Avengers Doomsday. Yes, these 4 trailers have definitely hyped me. I won't say it's like level that it was in phase 1, 2, or 3, but I'm definitely going in now from kind of hesitant to the cautiously optimistic phase, because I do think the Russo brothers are very talented directors. It's definitely a huge cast. Will the newer sort of phase 4 issues cause problems for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War? I don't know. I hope not. But for now, I'm pretty excited. I think they're going to be good, and I really hope that it will not subvert my expectations, but exceed them. And thank you to everyone who participated in my poll in my first video of the year. There I asked you, hey, what would you like to see? And the overwhelming vote was, I want you to react to the Avengers Doomsday trailers. And I was a little nervous about that because, the last 3, it had been a while, but then the Shuri one dropped. And so I was like, okay, perfect. I can do that. And it is also will be a trending topic. So thank you so much for participation. Let me know what other videos you would like to see in the comment section below. Once again, thank you so much for watching today. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment to what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell to get notifications when I post a new vidcast. Would you like to support me in the work that I do? Check out my website. The link is in the description of the video. There's also a link in the pinned comment and in my community tab. It's my Substack, studiojakemedia.substack.com. You can find even more nerdy and pop culture articles on there. I do movie reviews, TV show analysis, and I take a look at all kinds of pop culture topics like anime and video games and so much more. So definitely check that out. At that same website, there's a conveniently titled Buy My Book section. Be sure to check it out. I've got 4 published novels, so you're definitely going to look at those. I've got links all over to the place where you can buy them, but they're all available on Amazon.com. Be sure to check them out. Leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. I really appreciate you tuning in today. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I